bad guy spoken. So we got me, we got my mom, Connie, and we got my dad back there.
Hey!
Yeah. Hey there, all you cool cats.
Kittens.
Yeah, cool cats and kittens. This is Carol Baskins with the Big Cat Rescue. And we're here to talk about Tiger King.
I saw a tiger.
Yeah, only
Yeah,
the
tiger
most
saw
trending
me.
thing going on right now. What's up? All right, so what y'all think about? I saw it 4 days before they did. They just finished it. So what y'all think of it?
I think it was 7 episodes of insanity. Just thinking about the depths that people sink to. I mean, everything from treachery, envy, sabotage, plotting and scheming. It's something you expect somebody to script. You don't expect that much madness in reality.
Well,
Yeah.
I think a lot of it's just very selfish. It's all about themselves.
Yeah.
I mean, they having multiple women, multiple husbands, multiple animals. It's like you wouldn't think there was something that's really based in reality. You think that somebody it's all fiction, but it's really happened.
So I'm gonna ask you this: who you think was, if you had to say, I don't want to say choose a side, but yeah, pretty much who choose a side. Which people in the documentary do you think was like you were on their side?
At first, I was on Joe's side.
I'm still on Joe's side.
Well, you know, if I had to, I guess
saw
if you
Tiger
had
and
to,
Tiger saw
if
man.
you had to pick somebody in the end, because I don't see him as being, I don't want to say as being as guilty as he was portrayed or convicted, but I guess a lot of it was from his vantage point. So you sided with him naturally, but so many things happened along the way. The stupid decisions he made. Constantly making statements about wanting to kill Carol. So, you know, at that point it becomes premeditated. So you wonder how much of that was just him joking or how much of that was serious. And then you find out there was a plot to kill
Some
him.
of it is based in what she did to him and how he responded to it. Now, he didn't always think things through. He talking about he's going to send her a snake, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. But when you think about it, that woman hired somebody to do nothing but travel around the country and ruin his attempts to make money.
But no matter what someone does to sabotage your efforts, none of it necessitates murder. That's my problem.
I didn't say it did. I'm just saying that I understand his frustration. Each character, each person had their own selfish motive.
Yeah.
No, I feel like no person was worse or better than the other. Now, had he, I'm still not even 100% sure if he did hire someone to kill her.
Yeah.
I feel like he was kind of put in a situation where it was pointed towards him, and he fell for it.
So you think he was set up?
I think he was set up to a certain degree. I think he was led.
Well, if he was led, I think they took all of his recordings and his statements and was able to use that against him.
And you notice the one guy said, "Hey, I worked with him for 14 years. They never asked me a thing. They never asked me any questions. They didn't interview me. Who better to, to give some insight to it than somebody who's been around this man for 14 years?" Now, the guy they said he hired to murder someone, how you hire somebody you don't get along with? I told him to do this, he won't do it.
That part, yeah.
I told him to wear a uniform, he won't wear it. Joe disrespectful to me on the radio. Joe say what he want to say to me. They obviously did not get along, never did. They made it very clear that when Jeff took over, he fired half the staff, brought his person in.
Yeah.
This guy's a known felon. This guy, done got a little teardrop. He killed somebody. He didn't like how Joe was handling things. He didn't like Joe's lifestyle. So obviously they never were going to be friendly. So I'm like, why would you hire him to do that? It didn't make sense to me.
Of all people, yeah.
And you're already vocal about, I'd like to see her dead. I'd like to see this happen to her. So why would you hire someone you don't like, you really don't know, and you really don't trust?
Well, I think what speaks to your point is that Joe spoke confidently that he felt the case was going to be dropped. He'd be found not guilty because there wasn't enough evidence, and then all of a sudden these new charges come into play.
And he even said the murder for hire wasn't going to stick.
Right.
So we got to put some other charges on because people love the animals so much. Well, all these animal rights activists, all these enthusiasts, all these wildlife groups are going to come and they're going to bring him down.
Well, as I said earlier, it's pretty easy for them to set him up because he has all of these recordings of his intentions to kill her. And they're like, even if he had nothing to do with the plot like that, they can say, look at all this footage we got. Let's use it.
Yeah.
The thing about Joe is, I'm not trying to excuse his behavior, but he did what they all did. And he even said, hey, this was the 80s and the 90s. It was legal back then. I could go somewhere and buy a tiger. I can go somewhere and buy a monkey. I can go and breed these animals. I can crossbreed animals. Carol did it. She's the main one saying, oh,
She's the biggest hypocrite.
and she did it for years, and her husband profited off of it. He made millions of dollars to the point where they said it wasn't really about the love of animals for him. It was all about business for him.
Yeah.
For all of them was a business. She charged admission to go and see the animals. She had people volunteer. She didn't even pay the people. People working 12, 16-hour days, working on holidays, didn't get any time off. And she said, why would I pay them? They can do it for free. At least Joe and Doc Antle was paying their people.
Well, her largest hypocrisy to me was saying that animals shouldn't be kept in cages.
And then while she's saying that, there's an animal in the cage in the
And
background.
poor thing couldn't even drink. He was trying to drink, and he got he went from a big cage to a little smaller
Oh
cage.
no, not even that one. That's a different one. That's when Joe took a picture of him when he did his little thing in there. I'm talking about when she was saying this. She said animals don't belong in cages, and they held that frame for a second. You see the tiger in the background, like.
They're all in cages.
I'm just like, that's
She
ridiculous.
didn't have them in captivity. Like, you go to the Columbus Zoo and you see the lion. They're they're in an enclosure, so they can't get out, but they have room to roam and run and be
They was in
free.
the cages.
See,
They were
I
all
would-
in cages.
I would have
Everything-
loved to have been on one of those tours and then asked her personally in front of the group, so that statement you made about animals not being in cages, why is this in a cage?
Right.
Yeah.
She said, what did she say the reason? Let me see. I jotted it down. She said, let me see. I guess I didn't jot that part down. But yeah, she was talking about the cats being in cages, and I was just like,
Yeah.
that made no
She said
sense.
cats shouldn't be in cages. Cats shouldn't be bred.
But she said there was a
And she
reason
did
why.
that.
No, she said something like, they're here until they die. Something like that. I'm like,
Because they're animal. They're meant to be in the wild. They're meant to roam free, and they should not be confined to a cage. But yet and still, she confined them to a cage. They shouldn't be bred, but yet and still, she bred them. You should make money off of it and profit, but yet she profited. The only thing she did not do was have people pet the animals. Now Joe was having them pet them all day long. He was going down the road, he was going down the aisle.
going to mall.
No, he was going even on his property. He was taking selfies, all of them.
No, I'm saying, but he was taking them to malls too.
He was taking them all, making anywhere from $10,000 to $40,000. That was his livelihood. And she was following him around, putting pressure on them all for them not to have him there. Oh, he's abusing the animals. He's exploiting the animals. He's hurting the animals. So now you feeling like, man, I'm part of the problem. I can't do this. We're not going to invite him back.
I think the only people were, I would say, 'cause I know we just said pretty much like nobody or everybody was in the wrong at one point. I think the only people that weren't in the wrong, in my eyes, was the lady with the arm. What was her name? Kelsey.
Saf.
No, her name was Kelsey. I don't know if that was like a
The
nickname.
one who got the arm bearer?
Kelsey Saffer or something like
They call
that.
her
Okay.
Saf. They call her, yeah.
Well, her first name was Kelsey. I've already jotted that down. So, yeah, the lady with the one arm, and then the.
I mean, like the directors of this. I'm not talking about the people who work for them.
No, but no, I'm saying, but I'm talking about everybody.
I'm saying everybody was crooked.
Everybody was crooked on there except for Kelsey and Rick Kirkman, the reality show producer.
Well, here's the thing about that. He was wrong. He came out, at the end, he came out right. But she said that for years, when he was filming these productions, making this reality show, he had to spin it to make it look like he was doing something good. He knew deep down inside it was all about the money.
Right.
He make it look like it's for the love of the animal. And I think he did love the animals. But I think, why not? Ooh, what's that, a centipede? Oh,
She said
sorry.
all-
Hey, keep it real. So, but what if you're doing something and it's consuming anywhere from 12 to 16 hours of your day? Why not make money off of it? If you love it, enjoy it. That's the best job in the world. You love it and you making money off of it.
Yeah. But Rick, I agree. Rick, I couldn't find any blame in the producer.
It's the,
I couldn't find any. I
don't
couldn't
think
find
he
any
had
fault in the
anything wrong.
producer or
do you
her.
think that when his footage ended up burnt in that? Do you think he had anything to do with it?
I don't.
He said he cried. I think.
But yeah, that was his work. I mean,
He said that was my retirement right there. He said he's gonna retire after this one.
When you consider the amount of labor he put into that,
Right.
and then the fact that he could profit from it in some way, you know, for decades to come, I can understand his pain. So I don't think he had anything to do with the destruction of that.
I don't think that the guy with both legs who was amputated, I don't see him as a bad guy either.
I think he was a follower. He just did what he was told to do.
The thing about them is, they said in one of the, I think it's probably episode 3 or 4, they said that he would pick people whose life was really kind of low and bad. And so this was a step up for them. Oh, you gonna give me a place to stay? I can get all this free expired meat I want. You know what I mean? They showed how to open the dresser drawer. The rat was in there. You know what I'm saying? That's another step up. But I guess for them it was. Plus you working on these hours.
Boy, Doc Ansel, he had them roaches on his food, and they said they just brushed them off.
I think with all of them, you know, they all have a certain amount of charisma, personality that kind of draws people in.
Yeah.
Oh, you agree?
Yeah.
Joe is singing.
They all manipulated.
They're very likable. It makes people. They're salesmen.
No.
They want people. I mean, it makes you want to go and see
They all manipulated in order to get people to do what they wanted. Joe was just the only one to be bold with it and say, I manipulated people to do what I wanted. Because remember, he said, I used to go school to school, and I had people pet these tigers. Mm-hmm. While they petting these tigers, I'm saying stuff like, hey, don't do drugs, kids,
right.
and don't do this, right? No, and they like, yeah, you know, at that point, it's like, you can get them to do what they want. And he pretty much got them 2 niggas to do what he wanted to with, what's his name?
The husbands?
Yeah, John and Travis.
Mm-hmm.
Well, see, he got them to do
But they
what he
were
wanted.
also addicted to drugs.
They were addicted
the
to
same
drugs.
thing he said, stay away from.
And they were young. Wasn't they were young, so they were impressionable.
19, yeah.
And then you got things, like I said, they were both party boys. So he's like, look, you can do whatever you want with me. But you can.
Listen,
I'll support your habit. He was like a pimp for her. He said, I'll support your habit.
All of them are party people. Even Carol. Carol met, she 19, was she 19, 20 years old when she met the man. And she in a bad situation, throwing potato to get out the house. And then she gonna meet this dude and talking about,
she said she's been abused.
She's been abused. I understand that. But you gonna go mess with this man the same night you met him? He got a gun. He run around a gun in the car. I mean, I don't know. I got some red flags. I'm already got an abusive husband at home and a baby. I'm out there walking the streets, don't know what to do. This dude put up with a gun in the front seat, telling me get in the car. I'm like, I'm not going with you. You gonna circle the block and come back?
Well, I thought that was stupidity on her part because
that's what I'm saying.
What's this? You're drawing this woman in with the promise of her safety and some comfort by holding a gun on you. The minute she gets into the car, closes the door, picks up this gun that's not loaded, then he pulls another gun out that is loaded and says, "Let's go for a ride."
That's my point.
You know, so that was stupid on her part.
That's my point. You jump out the frying pan, you can jump to the fire because now you don't know. Listen, man, you don't know anything about this man. This man, 22 years older than you. He got a lot more life experience. He has money, even though you can't tell. He has money. And you're going to go off somewhere with him? You know? I mean, I know she probably was looking for a better life. And then she ended up, it took her 4 years to leave the husband, which I thought was kind of odd, too. If you in that bad of a situation, and you meet this man, and you trust him enough to be off with him the same night, and he's like this great guy, why take you 4 years to leave your husband? I would have been out. You know what I'm saying? Think about it. I'm going to thank you, Jesus. You answered all my prayers. I got a man who's abusive. What am I going to do? This man, he could help her. Even if she didn't marry, he probably could have got her a job. He had businesses and things like that. Now she did the wrong way. She done took the land away from her husband. He had a wife at home and 2 daughters. She done stole him away, so she didn't do it the right way. But I'm saying, like I said, I feel none of them were, all of them kind of had their own self-serving motives.
So who do you think was, as Kenny J asked in the beginning, who was right, who was wrong?
I think they all, in their minds, thought they were right. And a lot of them didn't care who they stepped on to do it.
We're going to be back after these messages. And we're back. Okay, so you were talking about who you think was right.
Okay, so I would say I think each person in their mind thinks that they're doing the right thing. Carol thinks she's being an advocate for animals. Joe's thinking he's being this Tiger King with the best zoo. Doc thinking he's being, this guru and mentor to these women and everybody come to see these animals. Even the girl who lost her arm. She felt like she went back to work. Like what?
It was
6 days later.
Let me see.
She got out of the hospital in 5 days, and she went back to work.
No, she was in the hospital for 7 days and got out 5 days after the amputation.
Yeah, so I think in her mind, she was doing the right thing. Okay, we're going to go back to work. I don't want the media to win. I don't want this to happen. I mean, I think everybody felt like they were doing the right thing, you know, and trying and probably making money along the way, too. You know, they was living kind of poor. They all had money. They all was, you know, using drugs, and they were, you know, driving ATVs, and, you know, Joe was showering with gifts, and this one had, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So they all just wanted to live that life, that grand life.
Well, I know I was never a fan of Carol. I know from the very beginning she kind of threw me with the way she was. Remember how much she was talking about, how much she charged paid to feed the cats versus what he was paying out?
Well, see, all of them think about it. Okay, so Doc Anderson, like, yeah, how much cost it to take care of a tiger?
His was $10K.
He said it takes $10,000 a year. Now Joe was like, I could do it for $3,000. So Joe was always someone who was trying to do stuff. You know, I'm gonna get some roadkill. I'm gonna get this expired meat. I'm gonna get, you know, donations. I'm gonna go.
Well, he didn't have the money like that. You think about it. She did. Cause
even though he didn't have the money, he still paid his people.
Right.
And they got paid more than Doc Antle. Doc Antle got paid $100 a week. He said he got paid $150. The guy said actually it was $137.48. He broke it all down. But then Carol's like, why would I pay somebody? They're going to do it for free.
I'm interested to know what Carol was charging for admission, because Doc was charging between $300 and $600, remember?
Yeah, depending on the number of people.
Yeah. And what Carol had said was she keeps them in cages to protect them until they die. That was what she said.
That's what I'm saying. So I'm like, it sounds wild. Like it just sounds ridiculous. You're shaming somebody else for doing this, do some of the same thing you did, and then you started out like he did. You didn't have no money.
It's like a different set of rules apply to me. Oh, you doing it is abuse. When I do it, I'm protecting them.
Yeah, she did that mess back in when was it? 96, 97. She said
they've always been doing it. Now she did say that at one point I think something changed in her with her husband. They said the husband was doing it for business. He couldn't. I'm sure they make a lot of money. He was breeding animals and crossbreeding them. And then she said that for some reason she didn't like him doing it. She didn't like it doing it. He would go out of town to Costa Rica, and then she would spay and neuter the animals so he couldn't breed them.
Yeah. She said she was in an exotic animal. She was at exotic animal auctions. I can't say that in '92 when she first bought the bobcat. Then she had 56 bobcats and lynx. Then she had 28 the next year, and 22 the next year.
Keep adding on.
Yeah, which makes her a hypocrite, like I said, because you talking about these private animal owners. You trying to get on Doc. He's trying to get on Joe Exotic.
They're all doing the same thing.
And she's doing the same thing. It's just because because you name brand. You know what I'm saying? Because you know what I'm saying. You trying to shame these people.
But she's a master at. She knows how to market her business.
It was 96, over 96.
She was like, oh, this lady's like, oh, your animals, you have like the Ritz-Carlton of zoos. I don't know how, because the poor little animal, the picture Joe showed, the little animal, his head was stuck in there trying to drink. He didn't look comfortable. He didn't look like he was in a Ritz-Carlton. He was a little pen. He wasn't in a cage, a little pen. He was cooped up in there. So I feel like all of them, you know, was kind of. I mean, I do kind of feel like they said with Joe, you know, he really loved the animals. They all probably had a certain love for animals. Even Doc Andel, but they like I said again, they made money off of it. He's on the Tonight Show. He's on different, you know, TV shows. He's doing big movies. So it's a money making thing. Yeah. That's why I think Carol was really, really bad, because she's trying to take away their livelihood. Whether it's true or false, she's trying to stop them. She's trying to, you know, make bad press. She's putting up billboards. She's flooding people with emails. You know, anytime you have 1 million followers or 2 or 3 million followers, and you're getting 2 or 3 million emails saying, "Hey, you know, you shouldn't have these people at your business, your mall," you're gonna listen, because that's consumers, and that's word of mouth.
Yeah. Well, I think from the beginning it was designed to make you side with Joe, where he just had so many good things about him, so many. He was just. They all have
they all have a certain charisma, a certain personality. Joe, with the way he dresses and him singing.
But Joe stood out. He was a magician.
Yeah, was he a magician, country music star? But he's a libertarian. I can't say that word. Libertarian politician. Yeah. He did it all. That's why I said Joe Exotic.
He said, "I'm a gun-toting, mullet wearing."
Yeah, gun-toting, gay man.
Never bit his tongue.
Two husbands?
Proud about all of his lifestyle.
Yeah.
And he made you like him. You know,
I did like Joe. I still like Joe. That's why I kind of question, because I think he was so blinded for his hatred of Carol that
He set himself up.
He set himself up. And even he even said when Jeff took the zoo from him, he even said that, oh, he tricked me. I saw him driving his Ferrari. He took me to his mansion. They buying us meals. They serving us, they wining and dining us. They just rolled the red carpet for him. I didn't know he was behind on the Ferrari payments. I didn't know he was renting that house. I didn't know he did. It was an illusion, and he fell for it. And after he fell for it, he still, like I said, I still understand how anybody would do business with somebody they didn't know, didn't trust. All of them are crooked. Even with the one dude, what's his name? The guy who did the informant who ended up.
I'm talking about, his name was like James Garrett.
Garrettson.
Yeah, James Garrison. Yeah.
He was turncoat
before
too.
we get into that, make sure we stay on topic. So, because we kind of trailed off for a second.
Oh.
So, my next question is: do y'all think Carol Baskins killed her husband?
From what I saw in the
documentary,
I believe she did.
I think she did too.
And you will never know, but it's just too much that leads to it, and the fact that he had been telling people he was worried about his safety, and then you had that document that was drawn up, that will that said in the case of my disappearance, as opposed to in the case of my death.
That's the part that gets me.
Right.
Who does that?
And the fact that this, I don't know, there's certain things she would do and say just didn't add up. And she's saying that, okay, I feel like a prisoner. How can I get out of this? Get out. You can lift the other husband. You can leave this one too.
She said, like, it was funny when she was talking about when Joe got snatched up by that tiger with the cologne on the shoes. She was talking about some,
Put sardine oil
he put sardine oil on and blah blah blah. They eat you. Like, nigga, yeah, you did that. Go check that septic tank, like they were saying, and that meat grinder. Because I don't
think it's a septic tank. I feel like a septic tank, you can find a body. I feel like she would have to get rid of that body because she didn't want to lose her livelihood. She didn't want to lose the zoo, the animal. They said she would have lost the animal, she would have lost the house, she would lose the car, she would have nothing.
Well, I just found it bizarre that she waited until 5 years to declare him legally dead, which is the activation point for his will.
She said 5 years. 5 years in one day.
They said you have to wait 5 years to become legally dead.
Right.
Declares my legally dead.
Right, but I mean, all of that time, she was speculating that he was just missing. I don't think she ever said at any point during those 5 years that I think he's dead. She just kept saying he's missing.
Right. It was a waiting game, because when his assistant kept calling him because she needed him to sign a document. And he kept saying, I called him all day Friday. He didn't answer. Called him all day Saturday. He didn't answer. On Sunday, finally, I reached Carol. Like, where was Carol the last day and a half? And you couldn't reach him. And finally, you said, Carol, I've been trying to reach, your husband, and it's been a day and a half, and I can't reach him. He didn't make it to Costa Rica. I think I should call the police. Like, you think? This man is missing.
Well, my question is, who, in fear of their own life, arranges to meet with somebody to tell him he's going to leave them and goes there by himself? If you're that's
why I don't understand either, because y'all both live together. Why you had to put up a meeting and why you had to meet somewhere?
I'm not going to meet you in private. So we're going to be somewhere either in public or I'm going to bring somebody with me.
I feel like with him, he had a lawyer. So why not have a lawyer drop the papers and just serve her?
He tried to get an injunction, remember? And they didn't want to give it to him. I said,
he tried to get a restraining order because she said they got into an argument. She threatened to kill him. And he said it was an argument. It wasn't like she physically injured him. And he said, that's freedom of speech. We can't do that. The way the law works, you have to wait for somebody to actually do something to you. They're going to kill you, and then we can go and do something. Because now they acted on it. You can't just say, well, she threatened me, or she did this. That's not enough. So that wasn't the divorce. That was just them gotten to, she kept with more and more, I guess, violent and aggressive and confrontational. And he's like, I can't.
But he still feared her safety, so why
meet her
alone?
Safety.
So why meet her alone? I mean, she's already upset with the fact that this man's attracting women, You know, maybe he's,
Right,
you
right.
know. So obviously she's got some bitterness
But my thing
about
is,
it.
why are you so surprised? Even the first wife even said that, you know.
Which
he
goes
had
back
a
to my
long-
question: why meet her alone?
I don't think he was gonna meet her alone. I think what happened was he was going to take. He wanted to move to Costa Rica. She didn't want to go to Costa Rica.
Well, remember he said he's going there to go meet with her to tell her he was leaving her. And he was never seen or heard from again.
He had a whole girlfriend down there.
He had a girlfriend in Costa Rica. I think that she knew he had a girlfriend in Costa Rica.
Right.
Because he was going every month. He was going every month. She knew, but I think when he decided I'm gonna go there and stay down there, okay, what's this mean for me and my child? I got a daughter to take care of.
Well, I was laughing at the speculation that he may have taken the plane when he lost his license.
She was saying, I guess she was trying to say he flew, because she was saying he would fly all the time. He would fly below the radar, they wouldn't know it. So what was her trying? She was trying to, and plus she was trying to say too, he had dementia, he forgets stuff. So she think he out, so she trying to think he out there somewhere with amnesia, don't know who he is.
Yeah, that's what she's trying to say.
Oh,
I think the funny thing is, even though we speculating all this, the one man with the former drug smuggler Mario,
yeah, I like him. Yeah.
he probably the cleanest one out of everybody. He's like the most calm nigga at everybody. He's looking like, man, I did my time. I'm done.
I think the most common one is Doc Antle.
Nah, Doc was tripping because when they asked him a few different things, he was like, I will not do this. This, and that. He was.
Oh, yeah, he got defensive.
He got defensive a few
He got
times.
defensive by himself. When they asked him about Jeff, they asked him about Joe. He's like, hey, I'm keeping, in my opinion, and I don't know, and I'm not gonna say.
Doc's that nigga though. That's
But
all.
but that dude, the Cuban dude who he probably Carol could have hired him. They done killed the man.
He done changed his life around.
They done cut the body up, burned the body.
He said he didn't do it. He said I was just there.
Yeah, but that was another thing that bothered me was they didn't get any DNA off of that the meat grinder.
That's what I'm saying.
The
Besides
police
meat
did a
grinder,
horrible job. They took 4 days before they went to the van.
We're off the meat grinder, off the septic tank. They said they could have checked the tigers. You know what I'm saying? Whatever.
dug it up.
They said they could have dug it up with the bones. They said it was a strong thing, but the stomach acids can burn up. But they said there's still gonna be some kind of trace to find it.
I think because they didn't classify it as foul play, they didn't go forward with it. And I think they should have. The minute somebody says, "I think he was murdered," that's supposed to be a trigger.
The police did a terrible job checking.
They
the whole
did a
thing.
terrible job because you have to. The thing about the thing about him disappearing is, if he never boarded a plane, if his van is there, you know what I mean, he's somewhere around.
Well, were the police manipulated because Carol's brother became the sheriff's
I was going to get into
deputy?
that. I was waiting for mom to be done, but
I'm
I was
sorry,
going to get
okay,
into
go
that.
ahead.
No, I was.
Well,
I was like, there. She was going. I was like,
Go ahead.
No, but she was talking about, well, my brother was, what was it? Was it 6 year difference? She was 15,
like
he
that.
was 9 at the time, whatever. Yeah, so it was like a 6 year difference. She was like, oh, I didn't really know him like that. All I know he was shy. Y'all still a family, you know. All it takes is one phone call. Hey, look, don't look into this, don't look into that. You know what I'm saying? You got a little bit of pull.
And it's not like she's
Especially
not gonna look out
knowing-
for you because she's gonna say, "Hey, I killed him, but I can't go to jail."
Well, the
And
thing
he's like, I got your back,
especially,
sis.
the man had a lot of money. Now he was worth anywhere from on the low end, they said 5, or the high end like $20 million. He got gold bars buried different places and stuff.
Yeah.
He was worth a lot of money. So I'm sure that like he said, Carol got deep pockets. So like I said, maybe she did meet with because it's awful odd that he's saying get up early in the morning. I need you to take me. We gotta go to the airport, but you out at 3 o'clock in the morning going to Albertsons buy some stuff for the animals.
Yeah, we're going to be back at these messages. And we're back. I had a random call. All right.
Coronavirus.
Yeah, I was about to say, I just randomly came up.
I can't do it like Cardi B.
Okay. No, the next thing.
Okay, how do y'all feel about like the whole two husbands thing? And did he really love both of them, or did they love him?
I feel like they didn't love him. I feel like he was pretty much a pimp slash
Manipulator.
manipulator. But that's what I feel like a pimp is to me. But I feel like he was like a pimp slash like kind of like
Sugar daddy.
Pretty much like sugar daddy slash
Financier,
like you know how Ma was. Remember the movie Ma? When she was like, y'all can party in my house, y'all do whatever, and she let them do whatever they want. That's what, as long as y'all don't leave here. As long as y'all don't leave here, y'all do whatever y'all want.
Yeah.
So he's
And
an enabler.
That's well, he was doing it too though. Remember, he said I used to do coke, I used to do weed, I used to do meth.
But he wasn't a prisoner to it. He made them a prisoner to it.
No, I'm saying, but he did it too. He said it. That the one episode, they said sometimes he'd be coked out, be going off on people. They said when he, especially with the cameras on him, when they started having the reality show, they was like, look, they was like Joe. He had his little moments, two different sides of Joe. But when that camera's cut on for the reality show, he start firing people for little than nothing. Sometimes.
Yeah, and they showed him doing that.
I thought it was funny that Joe. I think it was which one is it? Not Travis, but
John.
John was the one that told him I'm not gay.
They both said that they weren't gay.
But he brought up that example about watching porn.
No, he told Travis that. I think
Okay,
he told Travis.
When he first met Travis, he said, "How straight are you?"
Yeah, and then he has some. Do you watch porn? And you
like
do
little
you like
ones
to
and
see
big
the
ones.
large
The big ones. He said, "You ain't as straight as you think."
Right.
You got that nigga.
Checking him out, yeah.
You got that nigga. I busted. He had pulled. Joe's that nigga. Tell you, Joe had to pull, man. And he was clean. He put on that bomber jacket real quick. When old girl got her arm bit off.
But for John to say, "Oh, I wasn't gay," you were with this man for 11 years.
Who? What we said? Which one?
The one with the teeth missing.
Oh, that's John. Yeah.
Yeah, John.
No, he was.
He was living the gay life.
Like I said,
if he wasn't gay, he did a good job.
They both were young. I'm saying I'm not gonna sit there and be like, oh no. I mean, you still doing stuff with that man, so that's still gay. But I'm saying I personally think it was pretty much they was pretty much like, well,
so high.
They was like, well, he's funding it, so it was like, well, let me go ahead and take this real quick, and then it's like keep it pushing.
If I could pause for a quick second, when you mentioned about him putting the bomber jacket on, that was one of the first times that I started to really doubt Joe, or at least not love him so much, because this man, right after a tragedy, is automatically thinking about how it's going to affect his business.
Oh yeah. On the trailer they showed that too.
And tried to deceive people by putting the jacket on. That bothered me. That bothered me a great deal.
By putting the jacket on?
Because he
that bomber, that EMS jacket on.
Yeah, so that people wouldn't recognize him as being the owner of the park. He wanted to distract them. And the thing is, he wasn't thinking about the health and care and well-being of his employee. He's thinking about how it affects his company.
He said, "I financially
that
never recover from this."
Yeah, and before I forgot, I just wanted to bring that up real quick before I forgot about it. But you can go back to what you discussed.
That bothered me because on the trailer, you showed, hey, they heard the 911 call. We have a lady put her arm in the lion, cage and got her arm bit off.
Yeah.
So then they had to wait for the helicopter to get there, for the ambulance to get there, something like that. But then he was like, the first thing he said was, financially, I probably never recover for this. He didn't say, oh my God, this poor woman done lost her arm. Are we going to be able to help her? Are we going to get attached?
One of my greatest employees,
right.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
That did bother me because when I saw it, cause I know people probably actually think about like, wow, but she didn't, from what I could tell, she didn't sue him. The business didn't get shut down.
Well, going back to what we were saying about, once we're going back on topic, but say, he was, like I said, when he was funding him and everything, like I said, 'cause he bought, oh boy, what's his name? John, he bought him trucks. He said he got 4 or 5 trucks off him. He got his pink gun with the pink camo on it. Mm-hmm. He was buying the meth, he was buying the weed, he was buying, what else was he buying? He's buying them drugs and guns, all kind of different stuff. Yeah. So he kept them straight. He said, as long as y'all don't leave, I'll get y'all whatever y'all need.
For what reason did they have to leave? They got everything they want.
No, because here's the thing about it. He's like 30 years older than them.
No, my question was, what reason would they have to leave? He's giving them everything they want, so they wouldn't want to leave. He knew he had them.
Because
I think he was scared. He was scared to
they're gonna leave. He was insecure.
Because he knew they were straight. It wasn't like they were,
he knew it wasn't love.
Right.
Yeah, well, that part too. But like I said, he was fun. Like I said, he got them high. And it's pretty much they was pretty much like love slaves.
Well, what about the Dylan, the last husband?
Dylan was already good. He met that nigga in the chat room.
Yeah. I know, but he only knew for 2 months before he got married. But he was distraught. When he was talking to him on the phone.
I think he was distraught. I think he was distraught. I think literally like. They try to paint it like, well, he got with him two months after, so he really wasn't in love with whatever. But I think he's just one of them people where it's like he needs somebody.
He needs companionship.
He needs someone. And he replaced. He was just a new.
They said that was his life's mission. You know what I'm saying, to get a new dude. At one point,
never be alone.
He's always sought out validation as an individual. He wanted to be respected. He wanted to be worshipped.
That's why he ran
and he
for governor.
Wants to be loved. He tried to buy the love of these other first two. And he's got this new one, and he's giving him everything that he wants. He wants to feel needed.
Yeah. By the animals and by people, I think.
Yeah. So I think of the first two, it was obvious to me that it wasn't love. They were being they were being given what they needed.
Yeah, they were just being gifted.
sold out.
They did what they. Well, I pretty much say they pretty much sold their soul
For the drugs,
for the drugs
money
and
all
the
gifts.
lifestyle.
Yeah.
So I guess my question is kind of along the lines of what you first asked. Were they truly gay? Because they said they weren't, and other people said they were.
I mean, to me, you did the acts, so those are gay acts. But
Right.
but I think personally they weren't gay. It was pretty much a crackhead situation where it's like, hey, I'll do whatever, but it's like you really aren't gay. It's just you're doing this in order to get
profit.
in order to get the drugs and the money and whatever it was they needed.
Yeah.
You just pretty much took your lumps in order to get on. I mean, for real. I mean, it was pretty much.
They took one big lump.
It's like
I mean, it was pretty much like. I mean, it's pretty much
like you're prostituting yourself.
That's exactly what it was. Well, so yeah, they did it, but the thing was, you just had a place to stay too. It wasn't like they go back home. They said, "You come back home with me." So they were married, but saying that's just how it was.
But he was kind of. They say he was kind of low key control. You couldn't leave the park.
That's what I'm saying. It was a pimp situation. He said, "You gonna do right by me."
You see how he paraded his workers around? They had one girl get the breast augmentation.
No, that's Doc.
That was Doc. Okay, I'm sorry.
That's
okay.
Doc. I was about. Well, good thing you said that, because I was about to transition into that.
Okay.
Because, what do y'all feel like Doc prostituted his people?
Yes.
That's my nigga though.
He exploited.
My thing was, he was almost like a cult, like he brainwashed him.
Yeah, he brainwashed him.
Almost like he brainwashed
He was a cult
him.
leader.
Because the thing about Joe was Joe would get people who was kind of down on their luck in a bad situation. Like this lady was sitting in front of the bus stop for crying for all night. So obviously, she got off the bus and had nowhere to go. Hey, you want to come live on my property and work on my animals, and you got to get you a free place to stay. So he got them on that level. But with Doc, he would get them like the girl read the website. Oh my gosh, I'm into yoga. I'm into meditation. Oh, I'm a vegetarian. I could love to live this lifestyle.
All them cheeks.
But she made it sound like it was awful. But you stayed there for 8 years.
Because she was brainwashed. Because remember, she was like, well...
I don't remember saying yes, but I got my breast done.
No, that's what I'm saying. No, okay, I was about to get to that. But I'm saying pretty much because he was considered a good-looking man to them.
Yeah.
So he had a big old mustache. But he had that whole 80s look. But he was a good-looking man to them.
Mm-hmm.
He was pretty much like, look... he had that little vegan lifestyle, so he's like,
healthy.
You would think, you think he's real healthy. He's all about his animals, and she's like, oh, that's funny. I'm all about my animals too.
Right.
So, and then they were young, so they're impressionable.
Right.
And she thought the nigga looked good, but so it was just
how was that him manipulating them?
Well, at that point, you gotta think. Like I said, when you to them, he was a perfect guy. So so it wasn't hard to get them to do whatever he wanted, because he was a mature guy. He was in his 30s when he first got them. He was in his 30s. He was getting people that was like, what, 17? She said she was 17 when she first got there. She was 17, and like I said, he had to do this different stuff.
He's
he had to
smart
work
with it.
heavy.
It's kind of like that, almost like how you do like back in slavery, where they change your identity. She had to change her name.
Yeah, she had to get her breast done.
She had to he decided what they wore. So, but I'm gonna say I think it's again the charisma, the personality.
That's what I'm saying. When you wrap all that in one person, it's like this nigga. He's that nigga, like Joe Exotic. He just for the gay niggas. That's the only thing. He's the same thing. But see, he was just like the white trash version of. Right. But Doc Anno, like I said, he was clean. He was clean dude. Like I said, he was. And on top of like he was doing movies. Like this nigga's famous too. So. Why wouldn't you give the draws to this man? You got to at this point.
I just wonder how many wives he had, because he had China.
They never specified.
He had Rajni, Moksha, Bela.
It made it sound like he only really married maybe 2 of them. He said because he had a son. I think he was married to the son's mom, a dark-haired lady.
Mm-hmm.
Then he said China had been with him for so many years.
17 years.
And on top of that, this is how you know he got him. He was like, I want you to call me Bagavan. It was like, what that mean? He was like, Lord. That wasn't because everybody was saying Lord. He was like, it means real. What did he say?
Friend of God.
Yeah, friend of God. Like, nigga, no. You was telling people you was God, and they was going
they were
for
worshiping him.
And then like I said, and when they felt about this nigga, they was like, yeah, he is the truth. And they was like, we're gonna keep calling him that thing. Even old girl was like, yeah, I got my breast done. Well, she said the only reason she got her breast done was because
2 days off work.
Because they worked her so heavy, and she was like, well, I need to lay down. Like, nigga, so in order for you to lay down, you gotta get bigger breasts.
Here's the thing about that. It's not a prison. So if you ever talking about, I'm so tired, I gotta brush the cockroaches off my bread and make a sandwich. It's time to go. Why were you still there? You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that makes you wonder if there was anything going on behind the scenes that make them feel they couldn't go. Because remember, we said that it could have been like a cult.
I agree. It's
That's
like a
what I
cult.
said. I mean,
And,
that's what I said, like a cult.
and here's the thing about that. The first day she was there, and the daddy dropped her off and met him, she said, "Don't fall in love with your boss." And he already knew this guy is like a chick magnet. Yeah, he's a magnet. He gonna draw. You know, he done got you already under his spell. Oh no, Daddy, I'm all right.
Did take long for her
Then
to
the
drink
daddy
the
never
Kool-Aid.
came back. She was there for 8 years.
What was it? She's working 8 years. And because like I said, he was pretty much in a relationship with all of them too. So it's like, yeah, that's another reason why she ain't left. She's like, that's my nigga right here.
They're all being taken care of.
That's what I'm saying.
Unlike Carol, who's making you work as a volunteer.
Nigga showing up on an elephant. So he just walking up
with
there.
Carol, I'm gonna graduate to get that blue shirt. I got the red shirt.
Yeah. Oh my God, that sounds like that dude in Coming to America. I'm working fries.
Yeah.
That's the thing. She make you think that you know, I'm doing something. I'm big time.
She said after about 5 or 6 years, I'm like, wait a minute, you been here a while. I'm like, nigga, I ain't get no money.
That's a trash thing about her. Now, someone been helping you, volunteering all their time, working for 12 to 16-hour days, and you don't know their name.
Yeah.
Oh, you do look for me. I've been here. I've been here 5 years. I got the so-and-so shirt on.
Blue shirt. You Navy blue shirt.
Take
upgraded royal blue.
Right, and now you just starting to put two to two. Yeah, I have seen you here a few times.
You know, that shows you how business oriented she is. And
how she don't interact with them. She don't have no personal relationship with them. At least you saw Joe. He did make all the turkeys and stuff. He knew his people. He helped them out. You know, he cooked that food. Like I said, he was all.
He had his off days, but you know.
He tripped. He was on drugs, so he did trip out. He did trip out. You know.
The meth mouth crew.
Yeah,
that one.
That nigga was tripping.
I just don't understand how you can say you not. You know, I really wasn't gay, but you got property.
At that point, it's like, okay, man, he can't get property Joe Exotic in your pubic areas.
But you know what? Like, I guess Rick James said it best. He's like, cocaine is a heck of a drug. You do all kinds of stuff. I guess when you high, we probably woke up one day and saw it on there. Didn't even know it.
I'm not getting anybody's name tattooed on me ever. Things change.
But that's that meth though. Nigga lost all his. He had 3 teeth in his mouth. The entire
That's
time.
the funny thing when he talking about we call it meth mouth. And then
nigga.
You survive, yeah.
I got to give it to the director on that one.
Yeah, the way they shot that, I was like, that's the. I'm saying to the documentary, they did a few things that was like, okay, like the way they set that up, the way they set up Carol back, like she was like, oh yeah, these niggas got animals in cages. Then they hold on her. Then they got the cage and tiger in the background doing this little thing. But so they talking about what did he say? Oh, when they was blaming old girl for murdering her husband, they showed the family. Oh, we need somebody, who's gonna be the one to step up and help us to go against Carol Baskin. They showed this nigga dead in the camera just like this. Like, I was like, let's go, Joe. I'm on your side. Joe Exotic is my nigga, man. But so he had his things where he was like, okay, Joe, you tripping. That's how it was me the whole time. I was like, because he was gay, so it's like
did that perfect,
So he was, they a little extra, but I was like, hey, I still got your back. The stuff you was doing, but it was hilarious. But we gonna be back after these messages. And we're back. Yeah, we just talking about how Joe Exotic was that nigga. But next thing.
Can I ask a question real quick before you go to the next topic?
What?
How did he get a copy of her diary?
No, at that point it was public because remember, even because he was reading it, but then remember when it was on the news station, they were reading that the same parts he was reading it off of. They were reading it too on the news station. Because remember he had a transcript. If you notice, he had a transcript, and you saw the highlighter marks on it and everything where he was highlighting brief points. But
I guess the better question is how did that go public? I mean, I would figure I
think they just posted it online because, like I said, because that's pretty much evidence, and they pretty much just posted everything up there. So, like I said, he was just
but evidence isn't supposed to be posted.
I mean,
no, but.
Because he had a whole thing, he had a packet, and he was reading. He was just going through.
But how did he get that packet? How did he get her personal?
He probably just printed it online. But
who did he get it from?
Online.
I was saying he probably got it online. But I said
they did tell how he got. They did tell I think how he got it.
Okay.
Because like I said, they were reading off certain points on the thing, on the actual news thing. They're reading it on the news, and then they cut to him, and he was just He
paid somebody for it, but I can't remember how they got it. He paid somebody for it.
All right, you were going to start the next topic.
What was I about to say? Let's see. Do you believe Jeff Lowe was there to save the zoo?
Since he deceived him from day one, I don't think he was there to save the zoo. I think he was there to take the zoo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I think it was all a very calculated business decision. I'm gonna make you think I'm helping you, but I'm really just helping myself.
He was a con man, because he had everybody think he had money. He walked up, he said he put up his Ferrari.
It's an
And
illusion.
everybody thought he was rich, whatever. But it was like everybody that partnered up with him, they end up getting the short end of the stick. Because you know, what's his name? Tom Stark. I think it was Tim Stark. Tim Stark and Joe Exotic, and then
Garrison.
Garrison, James Garrison. They all got screwed over by him.
Yeah.
But when he chimed in on that telephone call when they were negotiating a settlement,
That was funny.
that told me that professionalism was not part of his personality. You're supposed to be sitting back, let them deal with this, and then say, okay, I'm going to support you this way. You know you're going to derail something by chiming in and
he's acting up,
cursing these people out the way he did.
Well, that's a lawyer, and you're not a lawyer yourself. You don't go in and make no demands. You're not a mediator. You're not a litigator. You're not a lawyer. So,
But
and then
he
you're gonna turn around and curse him
nothing
out.
good could come out of
So I thought maybe-
exploding
I
like
thought
that.
maybe
That's
he-
not trying to help a situation.
Well, I thought maybe he did that to maybe try to mess up the whole court case. You know what I mean? Because he was trying. His whole thing was, okay, they want me to pay this money. I can't afford to pay the money, but I'm gonna make a deal with him. 'Cause I don't want to lose my zoo.
I couldn't help but wonder if him exploding like that wasn't a low-key way to get them to take the offer off the table. So Joe had no place to go but to him and say, look, I need your help. The offer's off the table. Do whatever you
That's
can.
what I'm
That
to
saying.
help.
could be calculated like that because he was calm and calculated like that.
What's the about that? And it worked because
And
what
he
happened?
he recorded everything they did too. Remember that?
Yeah.
And I was thinking that when I was first watching, because this is my second time watching, but the first time I watched it, I was thinking that because every time he would blow up on Joe, everything he said sounded too perfect.
Yeah.
Dude, that's embezzlement, dude. Like come on, man. Like,
Right. Why would you? He would say stuff that's kind of leading, like, "Why would you do that?" I didn't do it. I just took that is you said that's embezzlement, and you did that, and
and he did to old boy too.
And he said, "You getting me in trouble." Because he got to try to protect himself. You get me in trouble, I can go to jail for that. I didn't know anything about it. He's trying to really cover his own tracks.
Now remember when he was pretty much talking to Alan, the bald head dude with the tear.
Gordon, yeah.
No, his name's Alan. Alan Glover.
Glover. I said Gordon Glover.
Yeah. He was talking to him. He was like it seemed like he was trying to get him to say things like on the phone. He was like,
And that's trying to put words in your mouth.
yeah, no, put words in your mouth, but. Remember that time when we all talked together? We were all talking about somebody doing a certain. That was like, nigga, you really was trying to get him. He's like, yeah, he offered me $5,000. I took the $3,000 and you jetted on him. I was like, nigga.
Well, see, his story changed a little bit. First time he said he told me $5,000, but he only came up with $3,000. Then later on he said, I didn't care if he offered me $1 million. I wasn't going to do it. But then man, so he just took the money,
Yeah, he said I just robbed the nigga.
Like he robbed him, yeah, or like, yeah, it was kind of. Like I said, I didn't really feel like that was strong enough.
Yeah, but to your point, I didn't. I never trusted Jeff because the minute when you found out that nothing was legit, then he takes over, and then his first act, firing half of the man's staff,
bringing his own niggas,
calling these people effing faggot and stuff like that. I was just like, okay, he's got his own agenda.
Right.
And so that was just Joe made a lot of bad decisions. He did because when they told him about when he was making defamation of character, you had that going on with the things he said about Carol, and then he's constantly attacking her, telling him stop, and she threatened him with litigation.
Mm-hmm.
He went ahead with it, and that was his downfall.
Joe couldn't be told. He couldn't be told. He wouldn't listen. That was his downfall.
The thing with him was he was manipulating too, but the thing was he wasn't. I would say it like this: Jeff was the ultimate manipulator. He was the ultimate manipulator. He got everybody to do whatever he needed to get money out of everybody. But the thing was, with Joe, he tried to do it. He was like, well, but he was. I don't want to say he's coming from a good place, but he was pretty much like, okay, I got somebody that's gonna save us. I got this dude. Jeff is gonna come in there. He's like, I'll put the money in your name, or not the money in your name, but the zoo in your name. And this way, I ain't got to pay this nigga no more. I ain't got to worry about Carol Baskin no more.
His whole thing, he was trying to save the zoo Because like I say, it really wasn't about. He was going to pay the money. He just wanted to be able to pay the money, and the only way he could pay the money back was to breed the cubs, was to do the
And
petting
he was like,
thing.
no, and remember he said it's wintertime. Ain't nobody coming out here to pet these animals. He said, can you lower the payments then and to make it higher in the summer?
But how are you saving the zoo by stealing a woman's logo? You're looking for you're picking a fight now.
At that point, no. Okay, I was gonna say this now. That's what I said with the extra stuff. Like I said, I messed with Joe, but he was extra. Like Big Cat Rescue. Oh no, we're just Big Cat Rescue Entertainment. I'm like, nigga, like you doing too much. And then
he was trying to do
you dressing up in a bunny outfit, and you sitting there talking about we trying to. Let's find Don Lewis. Let's find Don Lewis. Like, nigga, you don't have to do all this. You stand in front of things. You sitting there with your body all out in front of the gift shop with the bullet holes, and you just sitting there like this.
He was the instrument of his own destruction. So, again, he's making bad decisions. If you're really as genuine and noble as you profess, stop attacking this woman. I mean, it's one thing to defend yourself, but he went on the offense.
They kept doing it to each other. Especially
every time. Snakes in the mailbox. He's shooting the blow up dolls. He's shooting he blowing up the actual dolls.
None of them like Carol. They all said that, but he was the most vocal. He was the most destructive. He was the most antagonistic about it.
It was just an obsession to him as he was to her, and he couldn't let it go.
The difference with her was she always was able to become a victim.
And she had money.
I'm trying to, it was like I'm trying to help the cats. He's been abusing the cats, and she would do stuff.
The same thing.
And she was smart because she was the first one to start using social media. She was the first one to start doing YouTube. Hit a jump start on her, but she already had 2 million followers by the time they even got started. So she greeting all.
It's just all about how you spend things.
Exactly, she was a spin doctor. She knew how to pull on people's heartstrings. Like you said, people they love them animals, and the animal advocates, the animal rights groups, all the people who love exotic animals and looking for try to protect them are on her side because she spent it like look at this man who was taking my love. Look at this man who's sending me snakes. Look at this man who's doing all these bad things. She's not saying this stuff. I used to do it too. She didn't saying that. She's saying this is what she's pointing the finger at him what he's doing, and what Doc is doing, and what and. But the thing, she's all the way in Florida. Doc's all the way in Oklahoma. Yeah. How would you even know this man doing? He's a whole nother state. And when he going to Missouri, he going all these places, these different malls. She got somebody follow him every step of the way where he going, and trying to.
But that's the thing, though. They always try to paint it like Joe was paranoid, but he was right. He was like, "I got."
The woman said, "You paid me."
He said, "I got this lady following me," and then it being true. I feel like they're listening on us. They found a microphone and antenna on top of the gift shop. It's like every time, it's like, y'all want to sit there and paint this picture of Joe, like he was just this paranoid, crazy person. But he was right. It was like every time he was right, and then it was like, and then Jeff was trying to play him too, and he was like, nigga, like you know what I'm saying? Even you may help me, but I bailed you out twice. Man, you was out choking your wife, and then you was you trying to sneak cubs in on the what you call it?
In the suitcase.
In the suitcase.
Had a woman up in the thing.
Cause you trying to get some butt cheeks, you know what I'm saying? So it's like you was tripping, like you know what I'm saying? I was there for you, and you try to badmouth me. It's like nigga, I helped you out the same way you helped me.
And they all did that, like the same way that Jeff was supposed to help out the guy. What's his name, Garrettson?
Which one, the fat nigga?
Yeah.
That's James Garrison.
Yeah, they ended up, and he ended up telling the feds on him.
He snitched on everybody.
Yeah.
he the definition of what's his name, 6'9". Him.
I don't know why you remind me of that fat guy from the Tanya Harding story. The one that was
I'm trying to remember. I don't remember that movie.
Okay.
He's probably the same dude who played.
I know the movie. I don't remember like that.
What's the guy from the bombing? And they try to blame him. And they had a movie about him.
Yeah.
He looked like the fat nigga from The Simpsons when he kept burping. That's what he looked like to me. No, but he was say he was snitching on everybody, and he had, but it was like the stuff you were acting up too. You was snitching so you can give your name, you know what I'm saying, in the clear. Because remember he was selling stolen Hummers. He was pointing
allegedly.
Yeah, was
the one dude said I think he
bought it off him. He said I bought it off him.
I bought it.
He was pointing the gun at people. It said the thing said felonious pointing the weapon on the thing. He was out here acting up too.
Yeah, he had a lemur up in there and everything.
Yeah, he had a lemur case on the pending. He was acting up. Yeah, everybody on that documentary, they were either accused or allegedly did some kind of petty or heinous crime.
Or rubbing their balls on somebody's face.
Oh my God, that's what I'm saying. The extraness of Joe Exotic was funny. Like, how you gonna go to a funeral and sit there and talk about somebody's?
In front of the boy mama.
Yeah, but see, he talking about. Yeah, he used to be on the computer. I used to be on the computer and just be sitting there. He just rub his little nuts on my forehead, them little gold nuggets. I'm like, this nigga tripping.
Right.
Well, I hated the fact that he called the boy's mother to come to be a part of the funeral and put that out on social media. It looked like she was okay with it.
Oh no, not the funeral, the wedding.
The wedding.
I'm sorry, of the wedding, and then turn around after that and never spoke to her again.
Yeah.
And that speaks to his shadiness.
No, because he got a
yeah.
new Travis. That dude, 2 months later, you married somebody else.
But things like that,
but
it's the extraness. He's always doing something extra. Like when he was running for governor, nigga had condoms with his face on it. He said, "You either vote for me or you're screwed." It's like, nigga, why are you doing this? It's like everything you do is just extra.
So, do you think Travis was high and was playing around too much, or you think Travis committed suicide?
No, I think he legit tried to commit suicide. He
didn't try.
No, I mean, yeah, but I think he was pretty much like, I have no control of my life.
Right,
I can't do anything here. He said he's not listening to me.
Right.
Yeah, and then the thing was, he said he's not listening to me. He's
I feel like a prisoner. I can't.
No, not even that. But he said he said I feel like a prisoner. He's not listening to me, and I'm running out of weed. It's like, nigga, it's like what?
Ricky Williams.
Yeah, it's like So he shot himself.
That's what when he was saying all that thing, it made me feel like maybe he do love Joe because Joe ain't really giving the attention that he needs.
Or maybe he felt deprived of what he was used to.
Oh yeah, it's just entitlement because he was getting all kind of gifts and ATVs and.
Yeah, but that was the WTF moment of the series for me when he shot himself. And thankfully, he was off camera. But
you saw what?
He was like, and he said he played a lot. Joke was like, I guess he knew he was dead, but it seemed like okay, this can't be no joke because it's too real. But he said the ambulance came and worked on him, so I don't know if he died instantly.
Some of the people even thought that Joe wasn't being real about how he felt about it. That he talked about having the onions in his pocket and everything. And
that was that one nigga. That was James. Everything Joe did. He was like, well, he did not. It was like everything he did. It was like, oh, he's faking. He's faking.
I'm sure he felt it because I know he loved him.
I know he did, but see, he was in love with. I think he was in love with him more than he was.
It was unrequited love. That's what it was.
I think he was in love. I think he was in love with Travis more than he was in love with James.
It was a case of unrequited love.
Was there anything else you want any final things you want to say about it?
Do you think that he'll do like an appeal to try to get out, or because he said he could have faced 79 years. But he got convicted of 22 years.
Yeah.
Do you think? I mean, I don't know. These animal crimes, they usually throw you locked away.
We're gonna be back after these messages, and we're back. Okay, so before we review the final notes, let's do some crazy things that happened throughout the show.
Well, I already mentioned the balls on the face. That had my mouth wide open. No pun intended. No pun intended.
Yeah, that was he did. He ruined that. Yeah, I'm about to say.
No
Nigga
pun
said he had balls on his face. My mouth wide open. It's like, what?
I came down for 2 seconds. That's the first thing I hear.
Well, the whole thing about Kelsey losing her arm, just that was shocking to me because I didn't. It's not something I was expecting to see. It's something that happens.
It just looked like something out of Devil's Rejects. You got one nigga with no legs, a female with one arm. Then you got this nigga got no teeth in his mouth. Then you got Joe Exotic. He's just out here just doing what he's acting up. Like,
but that was on the preview too. That someone got it, but you didn't know it was an employee. They said
I
he
never
had a
saw
woman.
any previews, so
I never saw the preview either. I just jumped right in.
The preview, you hear the 911 call. So a woman stuck her arm in the animal cage and got bit off. So I'm thinking, oh my God, it's
a customer.
Yes, a customer. And then kind of find with somebody who worked there. So to me, that's kind of like your negligence a little bit because you working with these animals. You're supposed to know proper safety precautions.
Not customer park visitor. I guess that's the
yeah.
Okay, so what are the crazy things?
Mine was a whole thing about Travis killing himself, but I did not see that coming.
That was random.
I thought he gonna probably leave him. You know what I mean? Like, okay, I really wasn't gay. And, you know what I mean?
Because they never did show him throughout the whole thing. I mean, they showed him in the clips, but they never showed him like getting interviewed like everybody else was. So I knew he.
No, the one time he did get an interview, well, I don't know if he was interviewed or he was doing something for Joe, but he was
that was
like,
for Joe.
You know,
He
was giving his
been
name.
dead by then.
Yeah, he was giving his name. He was like he didn't know what to say. He was just sitting there. He was
That's
stuck.
that meth man,
Yeah,
meth
yeah.
line. They was like, yeah, he's like, yeah, I just love it here.
Mm-hmm.
I
So I was like,
He said, yeah.
okay. I was sitting there waiting for the rest. He ain't say nothing.
Right.
I had a moment that made me say, dude, when he was talking about flying over with the helicopter and dropping the grenades.
Oh yeah, he was tripping. But okay, that point right there. So, as much as he said he loved animals, there's nothing but animals there. So you go there and drop them grenades, you gonna kill them animals over there. And that's another question too. So, do you think he burnt? Like, do you think he was the arson? Because they said a whole bunch of crocodiles got killed. Do you think he killed them? Or,
Sacrificed his own.
Yeah, do you think he sacrificed
just
them?
to help his case?
I kind of thought we might
never
be
thought of
behind it
that.
because it's kind of you pick the day you out of town for it to happen.
Yeah, that was.
That way you know
I was
you
at a
got an
funeral.
alibi. You got an alibi. It's one thing to say I was asleep and it happened, and I woke up myself was on fire, but I just had to be out of town at the funeral. You know.
It's
it
just
worked
like, cause
out.
to me, it's like it wouldn't make sense if, they burn this thing down, but no animals. Like usually we have animals here. The one day, you know what I'm saying, you don't have animals here no more. You know what I'm saying? Like if he moved them real quick, then it'll be like okay, like so that's why I feel like he did sacrifice. If it was him, that he did sacrifice him to get this done. Like I don't understand what he had to gain. I think they probably had some footage that should have been out there.
Well, he burned that one thing up, all the computers and stuff. And they
No,
said
that was the building that had it.
that was the same day.
That's the they said I think it said like 19 crocodiles were burnt up. Then they said
Because they first
and they
revealed
said
that.
all the computers, like everything they had, all the footage they had was all burnt up. All the documents they had, all that stuff was burnt up.
So I thought for a second I thought it was two different incidents because when first we talked about it, they talked about like on episode 3 or 4, and then they talked about it again on episode 7
And-
when he was on the run. He took off. He was all worried.
And that was after him getting the argument with old boy.
Jeff.
No, not Jeff. That was what's that nigga's name? Rick. After they got an argument with Rick, the reality show producer,
Oh,
and he was like pretty much saying, "I own you." That was a little bit after that, so that's kind of, I don't want to say motive, but it's kind of like,
I thought it was
it's kind of coincidental.
I thought it was kind of ruthless, just dirty, that Carol wanted him to put his mother's house up for collateral.
That was wild.
That was just foul.
I forgot
That
about
was
that.
foul
Yeah.
on
That was
so
wild.
many levels.
Because they tell you that's one thing I didn't like about Carol, but Carol didn't care who she hurt. You know, they say she'd already like tried to take, the woman crying. They're gonna take her house. They came and knocked on her door. They're gonna come get her furniture. Anything that's of value.
She was
Yeah.
petty. It's like everybody in there was petty. Like you had James. James was petty because he was he was petty on camera. The nigga said, "Yeah, the Tiger King." Like nigga, what? Like, all that was unnecessary.
Yeah. And then when Carol took, when she pretty much took the man's woman's husband, and he had 2 kids, and then they got a small fraction of the amount of money they should have got,
Yeah. I'll tell you another thing. I would have quit that place if I was working for Joe. This man is aiming his gun at people shooting. I was just sitting there looking at TV like, really?
Yeah, he
You
shot.
shoot? You're trying to shoot the people and thinking it's funny.
Yeah, he
Oh
shot
yeah,
by
when he
the
had
Yes.
mother-in-law, he's like, "Oh,
Yes. That's another WTF moment for me.
Well, I saw that. I was like, what? They laughing. They probably, this dude, he's out of control.
Oh shoot, man! He was a mess, and
Yeah.
It was, like I said, it was enjoyable. I told y'all before you even watched it. I was trying to convince y'all to watch it. I was like, it's a train wreck, and it's like I said. But the thing was, y'all watched it in y'all watched the first 3 episodes one day, first 4 episodes one
Like
day.
3 days. I think.
Then the next episode y'all watched 3. With me, I watched them all back to back. So by the time it was done with, I was overwhelmed. I was like, this is ridiculous.
Right.
so what about the political condoms with his face on them?
No, that's what I'm saying.
Talked about
That's
that
what I'm
already.
saying.
He said he just does the most.
Yeah, I
Like,
said he said he was extra.
Yeah, most people just do.
He said you either vote for me or you're screwed.
But where is he find? I mean, okay, I understand now that he was using the money from the park,
Yeah.
but the fact that he's running for office, Carol's attorney should have jumped right on there and said, "We want an explanation where that money's coming from because you owe." You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So maybe I don't know why they didn't.
I
but
think they had him on a payment plan.
They did have him on a payment plan. They did, and because remember, all that's been done with.
But I would think with
And
the
it was $5,000 a month is what to
Yeah.
pay.
But shouldn't that be like filing for bankruptcy while you are making this payment plan? You are not to
No.
be. You should not be getting
like
into these
child
type of.
support.
It's like
You do
as long as you're
whatever
making
you
your
want.
payments.
Do what you want to do. As
Well,
long as you
you pay it.
don't be late with it.
Well,
But remember in the beginning, he
Well,
said
that was the court agreement,
He said,
so.
"I don't know anything." That's the thing about Carol Baskin. She don't realize I don't know anything.
Right. And I think he put stuff on the mama name. That's why she went after the mother.
Yeah, he did.
And he put stuff under the husband's name.
Yeah.
And he went after, he said, they sued me 3 times. And one guy said, they sued me, I wasn't even there. Who was that? That was the one dude I think who worked at the park. They tried to sue him too.
I don't remember that.
He said that.
I thought it was ironic that Joe was talking about how he felt like a caged animal. Knows what it's like. Now you understand. And now this is where Carol is right in what she's saying. You can't have. Yeah, true. She's a hypocrite. But her point was you can't have these animals caged. They're not designed to be in there. Now he's saying it himself. He's like, this is no place for somebody. This is what deprives you of your dignity,
I just
your
feel
freedom.
like she doesn't, for her to say she's an animal rescue, she doesn't have like an animal reserve where you drive by, you see the animals in the wild. These things are in little pens and cages. They're
They
uncomfortable.
were in smaller cages than Joe had them. And Joe
Yeah.
at least having bigger cages than she did.
Yeah.
Them cages were little.
Right.
I think the biggest shocking thing for me is what Kelsey said towards the end is that despite everything that's going on, everybody's position and all this, the animals are the people that are who should be the ones we're taking care of. They're the losers. They're the real
Right,
losers.
they're
in all
a
of this.
pawn. They're
That's why I agree with everything
they're
she
money
said.
makers. Like you said, now the animals are only good for so many years, and then the same way they said the Joe had killed 5 tigers. Now they're saying the Doc Antle had killed so many of them, and they investigating him.
He killed them tigers because they had cologne on his boat.
Wait. Oh, you talking about Joe?
Yeah, the only good is if you make
Do you
money
think
for
it was? He said he euthanized 5 tigers.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's what he said.
Mhm.
Do you think Doc was out here doing? They said because at one point they said, well, I don't know. Cause what's her name was she was always lying. I feel like Carol Baskin.
I think all three of them did it.
She said, well, he used to take him out at night. He'd hear a gunshot. Tiger won't be there no more. How are you there? First off, you're not even over there to see that. And then some people were saying, like some people were trying to expose him, saying he had a gas chamber that he was putting him in,
And cremating them.
and then he would cremate him after he was done. That's I think that would make a little more sense because remember they said after they reach a certain stage, then it's like at that point they're a bill. That's what
Right.
somebody said about
Right,
it.
yeah. 'Cause after a certain point, they can't really. They're too aggressive and they're grown. So they're not gonna listen to you. The way they can walk in there and play tricks with them and have people pet them. That's good when they're small. When they're a cub, but as they get bigger, they eat more, they do more. They want to get up to 900 pounds. Take up to 11 feet, up to 900. You can't control a 900-pound animal.
Yeah.
You gotta put him down.
I think what interests me is the invisible chapter. What's to happen next? If he ever comes forward with all this information that he should have used in trial instead of pleading not
did.
guilty, he
He
should have
did.
pled guilty and struck a deal and took all these people down with him and got a
Well, the
lesser
thing about
sentence.
it was,
He thought he was good.
Yeah, but now he wants to use this information, so I want to know what's about to be.
He said
revealed.
I'm about to
if
expose
I'm
all,
gonna go
all 30
down,
of
they
them.
all going down with
You
me.
should have
So
done that in the beginning.
no, because the thing about it in the beginning,
He thought he had a chance.
No, he don't. No, not even that. Well, that part too. But he was in fear for his life. He was scared Jeff was going to kill him. Remember that? Because they kept saying he said Jeff's coming after me, and Jeff was like, well, if you step on his property again, I'll kill you. He was
Right.
like, but I'm not out looking for him. Joe was like, nah, these niggas looking for me. He said they looking for me. They're gonna try to kill me.
They got
But-
new phone
You
numbers.
see, they talking about undisclosed location when they showed him again wherever he was at,
Yeah.
and he had their throwing up and everything. Was
They said they got the little burner cell phones.
yeah.
and
He's
stuff.
like, if you really safe, he's like, no, nigga, I'm scared for my life. Like,
My point is, once you're on trial, and this new evidence is introduced, and they've got new charges against you, at that point you need to change your plea to
You
guilty. And yes, you can. You can
He's
change.
already been tried.
You can during the trial
Oh,
when
you
they
said
enter
during, I thought you said
during the
after.
trial, he has every opportunity to change his not guilty to guilty and try to strike a
But in
deal.
the
That was his
interview-
opportunity because he saw then they've got something on me.
But in the interview, he said, it went well. He explained everything to them.
But then he said they got all this new information on me, and his attorney should have said,
The new information was he was coming down telling everybody else's dirt. Originally, when they asked him to explain why you paid this man $3,000, he said, "Look, this man wasn't listening to me. He was being disrespectful. I didn't get along with him. And when I talked to Jeff about it, Jeff said he's gonna go to South Carolina. We're gonna give him $3,000 a move. He told me to take $3,000 off the register, and that's what I did."
What I'm saying is, the moment they said we've got you on what's you killing these big cats. When that stuff was introduced, his lawyer should have said, "You're in trouble because they can't get you for this one. They will get you for this. You need to consider
He said
changing
that
your
I
plea."
euthanized them. He didn't feel bad. He didn't feel like that was a legitimate charge. He didn't kill them out of malice or hatred or
He was
felt
trying
like
to make it seem like he said I only did it to 5 tigers. He said I only euthanized 5 tigers out of all them tigers. Cause he had
over 200.
he had
27.
187 to 227 at one point. So he started with 187, then he ended up getting 227. And then on top of that, he said, "I'm about to get 20 more." And then they asked him, I was like, "This nigga."
Yeah, he was running for office. He said he had 227 tigers. So he didn't see what he didn't, and then, when you have like, in a farm or a zoo or whatever, if an animal is like mortally wounded, euthanizing is put them out their misery.
No, I know.
So he felt like he was doing something good. He wasn't like he was going to let them, be in pain and pretty much torturing the animal.
Yeah, but did he truly euthanize them? That's what he says.
That's what he said. So he's not disputing the fact that, that he shot 5 tigers. He's explaining this is what I did.
He shot him for going after him for having cologne on his feet.
That was funny because, like I said, that's how you know she did it. She was like, "Yeah, you want the sardine, or you want to really get a tiger to eat?"
I thought that Jeff did that.
No,
Jeff had said
that's what they were saying. And it's like, nigga, I ain't never had no problem with these tigers
Wait, no, not
until
Jeff,
you show up.
I thought maybe Jeff might have had Gordon. What's his name? Gordon?
Alan Gordon.
Had him do it. He couldn't. Yeah, Alan Gordon can stand it.
Alan Glover. You keep saying Glover.
Glover. And he kept saying, yeah, they were fascinated with his shoes. And he was somebody trying to talk. They kept kind of biting.
It's like, nigga, I ain't never had a problem with these tigers until you show up.
Yeah.
So now I'm getting yanked, now I can shoot up in the air, get this tiger off me.
No, I do think.
I'll shoot you right between the eyes.
I mean, Joe wasn't perfect. I thought when he said
he wasn't perfect.
When they were traveling to mall, they had 14 animals in the back of the semi. Now you know them animals probably hot. They probably uncomfortable. You know what I mean?
He had good practices that was wrong. Like the whole thing with the suitcases.
That was Jeff. That wasn't Joe.
But he saw it happen. It wasn't like, you know what I'm saying? He knew he was taking them up there.
But he wasn't gonna say nothing.
And at one point he bailed him out for it.
He wasn't gonna say nothing. That was his money.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying, but at the same time, you love animals like you say you do. You could have stopped that part.
Yeah, but it's a temporary thing. You know, you're going from the ground floor because the front desk ain't let you take the animal up in your room. So you put them in this little bag, get on the elevator, might get upstairs, take them out. So it's a few minutes. I mean, that's not worse than putting them in a big old hot truck for 14 hours when you travel across the country.
That's worse than me. That's even more cramped. We're gonna be back for these messages. Look. All right, and we're back. So I ain't gonna lie. Even though Joe Exotic was my nigga, I feel like Doc Animal. He was also up there. That was my second nigga out of everybody. Even though like I agreed with the things Kelsey said and Rick.
The producer?
Yeah, Rick Kirkman. What Rick Kirkman said, my favorites was Doc and Joe. I think Jeff was pretty much like the ultimate con man. I think everybody was con in their own way, but he was like I said, he was him and Carol were like up here with it. And like I said, he was real sleazy and everybody knew it. She pretty much was like kind of like, remember The Mist? When with the lady, she got everybody on her side.
Mrs. Malady,
her.
I think. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like she's like, oh, I'm coming from a good place. God's telling me this. You know what I'm saying? That's how I feel like she was. That she was with it. So like I said, and I think they need to look into it more. Like they're saying, I guess they have been looking into disappearance of Don Lewis ever since this documentaries came out, and I think I think it's gonna be funny when we figure out how like the outcome of it. Because she go to jail, she's gonna be salty because she thought she was doing something.
Try to take down Joe.
Nah, she thought she was giving her a little piece. She thought she was giving her a piece on something to do with animals on there, and they was like, no, like what I'm saying, little do you know. So they got her on that. So I was just loving that.
Oh yeah, she's upset with Netflix. So I had to
Yeah,
trade
she
her.
yes, yeah. 'Cause she was like, now I'm losing Valentine. If you look at her thing, I saw it on Instagram. She was like, yeah, I'm losing volunteers and I'm losing millions off of this stuff. It's like, can't feel bad for you. Especially, I mean, if that thing is true, saying that you really did kill your husband and was saying you was having people like saying watch his place and all stuff like that. Yeah,
Like I said, she was a trash, director because if you have people who've been volunteering anywhere from 12 to 16 hours a day, they come in on holidays, and you don't even know their name,
And yet you're profiting from that.
and you're profiting. You don't
and
pay.
nobody's seeing no money.
You don't pay them. Yeah.
Because you're supposed to be weren't they supposed to be a non-profit organization? Isn't PETA a non-profit organization?
She's not part of PETA. She had
I
her
thought she
own.
was part of PETA.
She had
She's
Peter
Big
backing
Cat-
her.
she Big
Peter
Cat
was
Rescue.
Yeah,
backing
you're
her.
right. Big Cat Rescue. Yeah. Yeah, it's just like I said. I just feel like she was. Everybody had their hypocritical moments, but she was the queen of hypocritical.
Well, that was my problem because she if anybody could afford to pay their employees, it was her. She's filthy rich.
She had all the money, and then like I said, Jeff seemed like he had the money, but
Jeff also liked to hang out in Las Vegas,
Joe,
party.
Joe was
swinging.
had his females twerking on him, all the different stuff like that. Like he was showing out. I feel like he didn't really love the animals. He was pretty much like he used them as Jeff. I feel like he used them as a prop to swing.
He used everybody. I think the only reason he was friends with Garrison because Garrison owned all them strip clubs.
He liked booty. That's what I'm saying. That's what I feel like. I feel like he liked booty enough to where he's like, oh, this ugly nigga right here. He said that nigga was ugly. I'm sorry, but he was the plug on the females. Like was going to go to strip club, and he had money too. Like I said, he was like, well, Joe ain't got the money, but I'm about to snake this GW Zoo. I forget. There's like something Wayne Zoo, like Gerald Wayne Zoo, something like that.
Yeah, that was Joe's zoo.
That's what I'm saying. But say he got the GW Zoo from him to do whatever he needed, and then like I said, he was just finessing everybody. What's his name?
Yeah.
Tim Stark. You got
Yeah.
Tim Stark with that mess. Tim Stark is also another nigga that I mess
He
with
was
too.
doing all the work and spending all the money.
You saw him. I miss. You know what I'm saying? When we said that, I miss Pump. He said that. He said on camera. Yeah, he got me doing everything out here.
That's what's funny is everybody fell out on that show. Everybody
Yeah.
who had alliances at one point turned coat on
The
them.
only
after.
person was that Joe been real since the beginning. Joe's like, look, I don't like Carol Baskins. She keep coming for him. I'm gonna come for you. God, he's shooting a little thing. He's extra, but he voiced his opinion. I said that's why I mess with him. He say what he got to say, but the thing is, like I said, I mean, it may not. I mean, it's like I don't want to say his heart's in the right place, but he's like, look, I love my Tigers. I just want to keep them. You did the same thing back in your day. Why are you coming at me for it? And look, and he said, look, y'all come on my property, I'm gonna blow you. You try to take my Tigers away from me, somebody gets shot. And that's what I'm saying. I mess with Joe Exotic. That's my nigga right there. But like I said, now I mess with Doc, even though Doc was tripping too. Doc had his little times where he was like, well, this what did he say? They asked him something. Something about how he used his money. I want to say something about how he used his money.
Because he was paying $600-700 to go in there per person, and they asked him something, and I know he's like, yeah, I know people think it's a cult. They think this, they think that. He was very defensive.
He
He was
snapped.
very defensive about other women, how many women he was messing with and things like that. 'Cause, he had a son there and everything.
He was like, everything they do, they're willing to do it. I was like, oh, I was like, Doc, chill out, man. Like, I was saying, it was I messed with Doc though, even though he was tripping. He got
But again,
good.
that's his life. He's
Yeah.
making movies with the animals,
And we're gonna be back. I did this message. And we're back. All right, yeah. So I just feel like if I had to say, people like that, I was the side I was on, I would say it would be Joe. Even though like I said he was tripping sometimes, like he had his moment. Like I said, he's human. At the end of the day, he's human. So, but like I said, I don't 100% agree with anybody in life. I feel like, but say I was on his side, I was on Rick's side, and then I was on Kelsey's side. That's three people. Rick
the guy with the dumb legs.
no, Rick is the nigga with the reality show producer. And then Kelsey, I had to burp. I was trying to burp on camera. And then like I said, everybody else I didn't agree with. I feel like
I'm Team Rick and Team Kelsey.
Team Rick, Team Kelsey. Yeah, that's what I was on. But and then like I said, I messed with Joe. Joe had his little things. He was tripping sometimes. I mean, he tried to get. I mean, look, when you try to give somebody, just spit that game. That's what he did. I feel like he spit that game, get what he want. But I feel like I was on his side. You know, so even though they had their each episode where they had an episode where devoted to Carol, where they pretty much was like, did she kill her husband? Did she do these things? Then they had one to Joe, when they was like, did he do these certain things? You know what I'm saying? It was like that, I feel like. And it was like where he could swing on either side, where they was trying to do that. So I feel like if I had to pick a side, it would be Joe's side. If we had to go between Joe and Carol, I'd be on Joe's side. And, yeah.
I'll be on Joe's side if he cuts an album.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that song, I saw Tiger and Tiger saw Man. That's my song right there. So we'll say, do you have anything else y'all want to say before we cut it?
I was going to do a lion's roar, but I don't have it in my voice to do
I saw Tiger. And Tiger saw Man. Right there. I'm out. Keep it tight. That's my first mention of music you put in.
What time is it? 11:30.
I don't know.
Nah, you should have sung the whole song. It's midnight.
That's all
What's
Tiger.
today?
He said, I told them,
Thursday night. I go work tomorrow.
lay down your guns. There he said.
He had the husband in there. He did all right to open his mouth up. His mouth all jacked up.
He would have got you, Mom?
Only thing about it, no. Only thing about it, I'm like, they never talked about.
You would have got it.
They said that he's all muscle. He wasn't muscular to me.
He was.
He was all ripped. But they said he got the girl pregnant. Never said anything about she had the baby. What happened? They two together.
We assume they did.
Yeah. Well, I guess so. When he
He
get
got his tattoo removed?
he had the tattoo removed. Yeah, covered up.
Who knows?